I feel like when it comes to personal development, there's ways in which there's the healthy framing, and then there's also for maybe someone who's not necessarily ready for the content, right? Because you can give the same book to two different people, and one person takes it for what it was supposed to be, and they take it in this very positive, orienting fashion, and another one can read the same book and then immediately kind of try on this lens of victimhood, and I'm not responsible, it's my trauma, it's my lineage, it's my epigenetics. There's like, if they're not necessarily ready for it, so if you see this personal development content online, how do you avoid like that narcissistic trap of, well, I want to feel good, so I'm not going to do this, instead of understanding that it's properly calibrated, I guess, for lack of better words, like it's calibrated in your best interest, your family's best interest, not in like this, my feelings are prioritizing everything else.
Yeah, look, you have decisions to make, right? In regards to, I want to give everybody a chance, right? Like my fiance, she's from Ukraine. She's a little bit more of a savage than me, and it's a good balance. Sometimes she's like, Craig, not everyone deserves like your support, or sometimes you believe too much in people and they end up letting you down. And she's not wrong, but I just choose to see the good in humanity, and I want to give everybody an opportunity. But how many times can you go back to the same well and not feel good, and then not go elsewhere? I mean,
Mhm.
that's on you, right? So you got to be aware. And what I'd say is hang out with your feelings, right? And pay attention to how you feel when you're around certain people, or certain places or things.
Mhm.
And ultimately, you have to lean into what feels good. And I understand that that's going to hurt some people's feelings. I totally get that. But what is the alternative? Right? Like walk around feeling crappy. I don't think that's, you're doing us good for the world at all.
Mhm.
So look, we're not going to be here forever. Like forget about souls and spirits, different conversation. In terms of this human experience, like we got to make every second count. Now, just to be clear, like you have some best friends and people like that, like give them a couple opportunities. But if you don't like the way you feel after, that's feedback and that's data. And you have to install that and then say, okay, I'm going to act accordingly and so forth. So this is something I've really worked on over the last couple of years. And I got to tell you, people are always like, what are you on? Like, how are you always so excited? And I'm super intentional with my inner circle, with who I'm around, with what I consume, right? If you're following people on social media that trigger you, two things. Number one, figure out why it's triggering you. It's probably something within you, if we're being
Mhm.
honest. But
Mhm.
if that person really makes you feel some type of way, then unfollow them or block them or something like that,
Mhm.
right? So you got to pay attention to your feelings because oftentimes they will guide you.
Mhm. That was something that I try to be really intentional about, is my feed on social media. So if I was following people that I would be like, it would evoke jealousy for some reason, I'd sit with that and be like, "Well, what's that?" And one of my favorite reframes of jealousy is a lack of imagination for your future potential. So you feel like, I'm not going to be able to do that, which is why you have such a strong feeling. So it goes back to fundamentally believing in yourself instead of making it about another person. Or if I see someone who's constantly angry and outraged and just, just this dense energy, unfollow. Why am I doing that to myself? I don't want to feel those things, and that's not the perspective I want on people or places or things. So just being really intentional about who you follow, and like what you're rewarding, essentially, because I think right now we reward so much outrage content. It's like whoever can be the craziest and the loudest and the meanest is getting all of the views, and I'm like, I don't want to contribute to that. I don't
No,
want to contribute to that at all.
I agree with you 100%. Yeah, you got to make your own value system, right? Your core values and so forth,
Mhm.
and subscribe to that. But I do like what you said in regards to if somebody specifically is triggering you, like sit with that for a second and figure out why, because it's ultimately a reflection on you. And
Mhm.
then see if you can transform that. Because
Mhm.
if you just put it aside, it'll never really leave. It'll come back to haunt you in some capacity down the road. So you want to see if you can transform the way you feel about that. I would highly suggest that to everyone.